going on, guys? My name is Jared Hinder, and welcome to Prospects Providence. So at the end of my Henry Davis video, I mentioned how in this 2021 MLB Draft, how there was not really a consensus number one overall prospect in other years' drafts, like an Adley Rutschman or a Spencer Torkelson, and I still believe that. But today we have a very special episode coming at you, because we're going to talk about what I feel like are the best talents in this draft. And I say talent plural, because I believe that Jordan Lawlar and Marcelo Mayer, the two prep shortstops from Texas and California respectively, are the best talents in this draft. Now there's a lot to like about Mayer and Lawlar. They both do a lot of things good, they both do some things bad, and they both have some strengths and weaknesses. But when we really get down to it, the question comes up, who is the better prospect? And today, that's what we're going to be going over. And we're going to be diving deep into Henry, and we're going to be diving deep into Marcelo Mayer and into Jordan Lawlar. And we're going to be breaking it down by their hitting / approach, by their power, by their speed that they show, and their athleticism, and their defense, which includes their fielding, their arm accuracy, and their actions at their positions that they play. So I hope you guys are really hyped for this episode. And before we start, I want to give out some listings of both the prospects before we begin. So Marcelo Mayer and Jordan Lawlar are pretty similar in terms of measurements. Mayer is listed at 6'3", 198 pounds, while Lawlar is listed at a clean 6'2", 195 pounds. They're both incredibly similar in terms of measurement-wise, and this is where their comparables really do start. They're both very athletic, young high school prep shortstops that both do a lot of things very well. So without further ado, let's dive in and let's really see who is the better prospect, Marcelo Mayer or Jordan Lawlar. Let's begin. So when it comes to both of Lawlar and Mayer's hitting and approach, it really isn't all that surprising when I say that both of them are kind of comparable in some ways, while also they're not comparable in others. So before I confuse you any more, let's dive right into Lawlar and Mayer. So Lawlar, let's get into Lawlar's approach in really quickly. Lawlar at the start of the year did struggle a lot with his strikeouts. He wasn't really seeing the ball really well at the start of the year, and while he was facing a lot of elite competition early on, he definitely turned it on as the season went along, and Lawlar really did turn it around. When you look at his stats, it really isn't a wonder why scouts love him so much. Lawlar is a very, very good prospect at doing a lot of different things, but the main thing I like to see from him is that when it comes to his pure hitting and his approach, he definitely really seems older beyond his years. Like, I shouldn't have to make notes about a 17-year-old recognizing spin on a breaking ball so well and not doing too much with the pitch, but just driving it into the gaps. He has a way of just peppering the gaps. Or when he gets a fastball in the outside corner, he doesn't try and pull it and get it for a home run. He just simply goes with the pitch, just flicks it down the right field line, hustles out of the box, gets a solid double. You will see these kind of at-bats consistently with Lawlar, which is why I feel like his pure hitting ability is so good. You just don't get this kind of approach at the plate when these guys are so young. You usually do get a lot of swing and miss. You get a lot of power, usually with a lot of these prospects. But with Lawlar, you get a lot more of that kind of that solid hitting ability. You get that. You see that very solid line drive swing. You see his very fast hands that can get to any type of pitch in the world. You just see it all with Marcelo Mayer, or with Jordan Lawlar. Lawlar is very special when it comes to his approach. But Mayer, on the other hand, has a very smooth swing, and he can make a lot of contact with his very smooth, long, compacted swing, and his very good lower body. However, I feel like that he can somewhat be really attuned to strikeouts, especially early in his career, mainly because I do think the approach is good. You do see him sometimes take a pitch to the opposite field. You do see him uppercut a low fastball, and he's a left-handed hitter, so you see him kind of crush it to the left center field gaps. And you see a lot of power with the swing. The thing is that I also see a lot of strikeouts. Because the swing is so big, because he does take a little bit of uppercut swing, I can see him being really attained to strikeouts early in his career. So for all these reasons, I'm going to give the notch to Lawlar here, because Lawlar's approach just seems to be more predicated on making contact, and just going the other way with pitches, and having a good at-bat, rather than just hitting a home run. And we'll get into Lawlar's power later, and it's not bad power. I just think that Lawlar is just overall just a better hitter than Marcelo Mayer. And I really can't believe that MLB Pipeline said that Marcelo Mayer was the better pure hitter, when I just don't see it. I really don't see what they're talking about when they say that Mayer is the better pure hitter. So for this, I'm going to go with Lawlar, mainly because of the approaches that I see and the at-bats that I see are just simply too good to really pass up here. So the point goes to Lawlar. Alright, so when it gets to their power, I do think that one of the players does have a slight edge right now, and I actually do think that one of the players will have the edge in 3 years. But for right now, I'm going to give the power edge to Marcelo Mayer over Jordan Lawlar. The main reason is because Marcelo Mayer seemingly likes to get under the baseball a lot more than Lawlar currently, and with the way Mayer hits the ball so hard, I really just do see him having better pure power right now. You're gonna see a lot of home runs with Marcelo Mayer, only because he loves to get under the baseball. He loves to drive the baseball in the air, and because he's swinging so hard, they're just naturally gonna leave the ballpark, especially as he grows more into his 6'3", 195-pound frame as he gets a little bit older. Now, Lawlar doesn't have bad power, but like I mentioned, Lawlar has a very disciplined approach, and he doesn't really sell out for his power. Because of that, Lawlar hasn't really shown the elite exit velocities, nor really shown that true elite power just yet. But I do think that one day it could come. Meaning that in 3 years, I think Lawlar could potentially have better power than Mayer. But for right now, I'm going to go with Mayer over Lawlar. Now, when it comes to their speed, both of these guys aren't the best runners in the world. They're both not the best athletes in the world, and they don't have blazing speed. But if I had to give a speed ranking and I really had to compare the two, I definitely think that Lawlar is the better runner of the two, but it's not really something you should really grade them on. Lawlar is the better athlete, as we'll soon find out with their defense. And Mayer is kind of a below average athlete. He's not particularly all that fast. He's kind of Bryce Harper-ish, where he's a big time slugger, but he doesn't really run. He's not the best athlete. So while both of these guys aren't really the fastest in the world, and I don't really think it's fair to judge speed off right now, since both of them aren't the fastest, I'm gonna give the slight edge to Lawlar only because he is the better athlete. Now we're going to get into the defense, which is really where I think a lot of the discussion is going to come from. Defensively, both of these guys are actually kind of comparable in a way. When you watch Marcelo Mayer translate a lot of his smooth actions he shows with his bat and his offense really into his defense. You see him seemingly glide through the 6'5" hole many times, just effortlessly just getting to baseballs. and just effortlessly after they're in his glove, just throwing the run. Everything he just does is almost like a ballet recital, where it's just like he's so easy on his feet. He's so easy. It's truly something to see when Marcelo Mayer is on defense. However, the one thing I did see with Marcelo Mayer with his defense is that his glove action really isn't all that good right now. I've seen him backpick baseballs when he really shouldn't. I've seen him kind of take weird angles to baseballs, and while I think he definitely has the actions he has like I mentioned, like the effortless glidness to get to a lot of these baseballs. In terms of just like keeping their glove on the ground and just picking up the baseball, I think Mayer still has a lot to learn in terms of playing shortstop, which is why I kind of project him a little bit more as a third baseman. Mainly because a lot of those issues with like ball transferring and reaction time of taking correct angles to baseballs and shortstop would kind of go away if he moved to third base. Because I think Mayer has a very strong arm. Mayer has an incredibly strong arm. He can really make any throw he wants to. And Mayer also has really good reaction time at shortstop as well. So, with all this being said, do I think it's necessary to move him to shortstop? Not particularly, but I do think that as he does eventually fill out his body, as he does get stronger and more muscular, I do think it could be something that could have to happen eventually. Now when we get to Lawlar, Lawlar's actions and his reaction time is insanely good. You do see him get to a lot of baseballs. You see him effortlessly pick up baseballs off the dirt. You see him make effortless throws at times. He's very accurate with his arm. He's got both of these prospects have strong arms, but Lawlar's got a very strong arm at shortstop. Lawlar just seems to be the better pure shortstop right now defensively. And when you add his better athleticism over Mayer with his better glove work, better action, and looking like a more pure shortstop, Lawlar really is the best. It really is the better defender here, and I don't really think it's close. I've heard some people say that Mayer is the better defender, and I really don't understand why. Like look at Marcelo Mayer and Lawlar play. I'm not saying that Marcelo Mayer is a bad fielder, but look at both of them play, and you're really gonna sit there and tell me that Mayer is the better fielder? I just don't see it. Like, what do you see that's telling me the fact that Mayer is the better fielder? Lawlar is the better fielder. He has such a great arm. He gets to everything. He's got a great reaction time. He just makes better routine plays. Lawlar just has a certain feel for fielding a shortstop. And he definitely just can. And I really feel like he can stick a shortstop with his great movement skills he has, his actions at shortstop, his great arm, and his very good athleticism. The edge is very close here, mainly because I do think that their arms are comparable, and I do think that while Mayer's glove work is definitely needs to be worked upon, I definitely think it can be fixed with a good coach. But I'm going to give the edge to Lawlar, only because I've seen the better actions right now compared to what we might see in 3 years. So the edge goes to Lawlar. Alright, so in conclusion, I think that both these prospects are very good, and I do think that they are the number one and number two talents in this draft class. They both have very comparable aspects to what they do, and they're both very similar. While also having a lot of differences. Right now, I'm going to give the slight edge to Jordan Lawlar, and that might not be a popular take, but you know, he doesn't have the flashy power that Marcelo Mayer flashed this year. But what he does have is a better approach, better vision. He reads the ball out of the hand better. He makes more contact. He's the better pure hitter. He can grow into his body a lot more as he does get stronger. And I really think with his above average athleticism and his better actions and movement at shortstop over Mayer, I really do think he is the better player over Mayer. It's a slight edge. It's like we're talking like very, 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 very slightly. But I do give the edge to Jordan Lawlar. because of his better hitting ability, his better pure contact ability, his approach to plate, his overall better vision, his overall better fielding, and overall better athleticism. The edge slightly goes to Lawlar, while Marcelo Mayer is a prospect who has great power. He's a modern day swing with that beautiful left-handed stroke that can just effortlessly get baseballs in air, and he'll hit a lot of home runs and a lot of hard contact. But he does have that hitch. He does have that swing and miss potential. He does oftentimes will sell out for power. And I do think that Jordan Lawlar just slightly edges him out. Mainly not because Marcelo Mayer is bad, I just think that Lawlar is just somewhat better. So that's really going to do it for the video here, guys. I know it's not particularly a popular take that Jordan Lawlar is better than Marcelo Mayer. But again, it's so slight that I really don't think it's that big of a take. Both these prospects are insanely talented, and I do expect both these prospects to go in the top 5. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hopping over here to Prospects Providence. I am your host, Jared Pinder, and I will be signing off. And I will be seeing you next time when I release my 2021 MLB Mock Draft. But until then, sayonara, peace, have a wonderful night, and take care.